having this camera system in parking lots, also the parking sensors and the rear cross traffic alert, it gives you a certainty that when you're backing out of a parking spot, or if you're pulling into a parking spot, it does give you that certainty that there's no kids around, there's nothing that you haven't seen. It just gives you that full certainty pulling into areas in which other people and other cars are. During the day, the heads-up display is pretty good. At nighttime, it's a little bright, but you have to adjust it. But it's overall pretty good. So it has a CVT type system, just like the Prius. So the Toyota Prius has a same type drive system, and so in addition to the electric power, it has the gas power, and the transmission kind of it's continuously variable. It's infinitely variable between a set gear ratios, basically set ratios. So it doesn't shift like a regular transmission would shift. It has it revs up, you accelerate, and then it comes back down, depending on your needs. And it accelerates quite quickly. It is for what it is, it feels pretty strong. Now the adaptive cruise control with the lane tracing assist, so the steering assist, it feels okay. If I just let go of the steering wheel, okay, it tries to keep you at this very precise spot typically, and it's just a little bit too much hugging the center line for me, right? So, but if I don't want to be there, if I want to be just slightly away from that line, right now it's fine because the lines on the road are highly visible. It's during the day. There's not a lot of cracks or anything in the road. This is a fairly new road, so right now it's doing pretty good. Now, if the lines aren't perfectly visible, or if there's cracks in the road or whatever, sometimes it just seems like the steering wants to sometimes it actually did go over the center line and then gives me it goes over the center line, then lets me know I'm going over the line. So it knows I'm going over the line, but yet the steering wheel tugged me over that line. So I don't understand why sometimes it just doesn't work all that great. Also, if this road's quite wide, but on a road that's kind of more narrow, or sometimes a wide road, either way, but if sometimes it just seems like it wants to just stay too far to the left. And when there's a big log truck coming and it's flying past me, I want to move a little bit to the right. I don't really like hugging the center line so much, and so I'm constantly struggling. It's the type of system that doesn't let you kind of like stay in your lane, and wherever you are in the lane is fine. It wants to have you in a precise spot in the lane, and it's constantly fighting you to stay where it wants you to stay. Some other systems, so like Honda systems, in my experience, kind of like as long as you're between the lines, you don't feel the system at all. It doesn't try to steer the steering wheel unless you start to deviate from within the lines. Then it starts to kind of come into play. It becomes more noticeable. This one is like it's constantly noticeable. You always feel it tugging on the steering wheel, and the system is not I don't use it. I typically turn it off, okay? So I just have it on now for demonstration purposes. Now the adaptive cruise control, once you set it, and you can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and it holds a safe distance. It's not too close. It does a decent job. It will apply the brakes if they slow down. And, it works good. I mean, the adaptive cruise control system is fine. Don't have any problem with it. As far as this, the overall comfort of the vehicle, it handles the bumps well for the size of the vehicle and the wheelbase and all that stuff. And outside noise are dampered fine. I mean, it's not loud in here. You hear some bumps and stuff here and there. But as far as, this is like a bumpy road right now, but as far as just in general, I mean, it's a comfortable, easy to drive vehicle. You just turn off the lane tracing assist, and it's a, stress-free ride, really, for me. So I had the adaptive cruise control on, and it's slowing me down right now. I'm not pushing the brakes, but it is slowing me down. It just dropped my speed about 6 miles per hour to keep me a safe distance behind this vehicle, basically. So, and it did it in a non-scary way. It doesn't like rush up on the car and then slam on the brakes, and then when they accelerate, it floors it. It's nice and smooth. It does it naturally, as if I'm actually driving the vehicle. That's nice. I mean, that's really good. If you notice the Eco needle over here, sometimes if I have cruise control on, it doesn't move at all hardly. But as I'm driving, especially around town driving, that little needle is just flopping around all over the place, and it's a little distracting, but it's not a huge deal. The heated seat's nice. The heated steering wheel's nice. The brakes are great. It slows down really nice. I mean, it's a, it does have the regenerative braking, but it also, the braking itself works nice and smooth. And once again, the camera came on, which is great. I think it's just a comfortable, easy to drive vehicle. And if you've never driven a hybrid system, you might find it strange that the engine turns on or off depending on what you're doing. But once you get used to that, it's fine. I mean, it's like driving any other vehicle. And I think that with all these vehicles being hybrids, I think people are, might be hesitant if they're not familiar with hybrid vehicles, especially Toyota. I mean, they've really refined the hybrid system as far as mechanically and reliability, but also the driving experience is very close to, if not exactly the same as a traditional vehicle that's not non-hybrid. So anyways, I think you get the idea. As far as just the general driving is comfortable, and also the height. The seat is like, the height of the vehicle is getting in and out is really comfortable. And just in general, it is just a great car, I think. I think it's going to be a good seller. The price of the vehicle is a little high, maybe a little bit, but maybe they always adjust that with sales and stuff like that, rebates, incentives. And I do like the feature of pushing the button and seeing what's around you, so I can, before I get out, especially at nighttime, if you want to see around you, you can see that. But also, and it just stays up there too. So you could just leave that up there. If you're sitting in the car for a minute or whatever, checking your phone, you can kind of get an idea of what's directly around the vehicle before you get out. I think that's a great safety feature. And it's just kind of neat. And also you can see it shows where I'm like not in the middle. So if you're worried about the way you park, you can really fine tune your parking experience right here. And get, I think, probably overboard if you have, OCD or whatever. But anyways, if you have any questions or anything, leave it in the comment section. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.